And welcome back to the Kim Monson Show. We are going to jump into the conversation with Sophia Georges. She is a realtor, has her own real estate firm in New Jersey, and she has decided to run for Franklin Township Council. Sophia, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me, Kim.
Well, it's great to have you, and this is a big deal to step forward to run for office. Tell us a little bit about you and why you are doing that.
Absolutely. So I'm not a politician. I am a mom, a homeowner, and a business owner. I own my own brokerage, Realsophy Real Estate here. I've lived in Franklin Township, which is in central Jersey, for 25 years. I have 3 children that go to school here. And like I said, I'm a business owner. So I have seen over the years some of the changes that have been happening, and I was asked if I was interested in running. I started volunteering for our committee, and I said, you know what, I think I can make a difference, and I said I think I can be a voice for many people, and I decided to run. So this was not like a career for me. This is more of, I think I have the ability to make a difference, and I wanted to do that. Leave a legacy, Kim. We gotta stand for something, right?
We do. And I was on City Council 2012 to 2016 for my community, and it was like a front row seat to see how the sausage is made. And I have seen a usurpation, I would say, of property rights, of people's rights, and we're seeing a whole bunch of rewrites of zoning regulations, comprehensive plans for communities, and I'm very concerned about that, Sophia.
Yes, and absolutely what you said, you got to see the sausage being made as you got more involved, and that was a similar thing that happened with me. As I got more involved with volunteering, attending council meetings, just getting more in, details, because I think we tend to get very busy in our lives and we don't really follow the details in our day-to-day grind. But having been involved with all these activities, it was very eye-opening to me. And so that was also a contributing factor to me running. We have a lot of issues here, in my practice with housing affordability, and I'm sure you guys do out in Colorado as well. It was for me it was my ability to try to help my clients achieve home ownership and make it easy for them. And affordable housing is definitely a hot topic nowadays.
Well, and as I look at it, I think that it has been public policy that has made housing less and less affordable. I mean, there's other factors as well, but I think public policy has been a real contributing factor. And my concern then is, I call them PBIs, politicians, bureaucrats, and interested parties. They swoop in, and the answer is government. And affordable housing, subsidized housing, actually is government housing. And if you have government housing, you don't have property rights. And I'm super concerned about that, Sophia.
Yes, you're absolutely right. This is, we always talk about mortgage rates, but, it's not only mortgage rates, but exactly what you're saying. These are policies. These are the bureaucrats that have stepped in and have created these unsustainable policies to make housing unaffordable and unsustainable with these high taxes that we've been, bearing here in New Jersey. We call it affordable housing, and I think that term is very confusing. It's actually, lower income housing. And like you said, these are homes that are being built just for the specific reason. And here in New Jersey, we had something called the Mount Laurel Doctrine, which required our municipalities to provide a fair share of affordable housing. So we've been mandated here in our towns to do so. Again, these are, like you said, government housing. This is not promoting home ownership. This is not promoting people to be able to stand strong on their own 2 feet and attain the American dream, which we always said has been home ownership. This has sort of been policies that has put a Band-Aid on things and is not intended for the sustainability long term.
Another thing that I am seeing is density. And here in Colorado, we are facing the same thing, high property taxes. And the answer to that would be for these different governments, municipalities, school districts to lower taxes and reduce government spending. We talk about it on the national level, and that's super important. But on the local level, people are really hurting regarding high property taxes, high sales taxes, and government has gotten way out of its lane, Sophia Georges.
Absolutely. Local politics, I say, is sort of the key that drives our national politics. And when it starts at the local level, people tend to not focus so much on the local level, but it is so critically important because the town council has a tremendous amount of power in what you do in your town. So you talked about taxes. So we go through reassessments every year here on our homes. And a lot of times people are confused that, your assessments go up on your homes and your taxes automatically go up. But that's really not supposed to be the case. We want to have equity in our homes. We want our homes to have value. And we saw our home values here, the bidding wars that happened during COVID. There was this low inventory, so a massive spike in home prices. But the budget, when we talk about a budget in the town, that is key, whether it's the school budget, the township, the operating budget. Because your value goes up, we want equity in our homes. But the town should maintain a responsible budget. And the tax rate, when we talk about that, shouldn't be going up. It should actually be coming down. So I think there's a lot of confusion when people talk about assessments. They think it's an automatic increase in taxes. But we just saw here in Franklin Township I've heard up to a 25% tax increase in 1 year on a property. How are families supposed to be able to afford something like that? So that's the key, is really trying to get a hold of that issue, helping our hardworking families that are really reeling here locally, and all of this talk about affordable housing. It's supposed to be for the public benefit. People are still waiting to see what that public benefit is. If you're increasing the amount of people, you would think that you were increasing the revenue in a town, bringing in more money. You should see your taxes coming down. But we're seeing just the opposite.
Well, and again, government housing, it's if you don't own something, you don't take as good of care of it. Now, if people want to rent, certainly we support people having their choices on their housing. If they want to rent, that's fine. But what we've seen here in Colorado is public policy that is making it more difficult for developers to build ownership units for people. But yet we're seeing with favorable financing from the federal government, favorable permitting, and a variety of things, we're seeing what's called transit-orientated development, which is trying to put people into apartments near the light rail corridor. Do you see something like that in New Jersey?
I do see that in New Jersey, but there are also now each of the individual towns are given mandates, and that's where a lot of these issues comes about, because you have certain towns that are not near these transient cities that have had these mandates. But another thing is we're seeing a lot of warehouses here too. But there is a lot of these transient towns that are they're being given incentives to redevelop. Yes. So that's people prefer that they actually use something that is in need of repair to develop. But again, when you do that, you have to be responsible in your development. That's the area of controversy. When you increase the population, you put strain on the infrastructure, overcrowding in schools. There's a lot that's involved. You can't just develop and build. And that is oftentimes an area of contention among the residents of a town. So again, I'm in real estate. I love building and I love redevelopment, but it must be a responsible development.
Well, and I really think getting government out of no subsidies, no special permitting, that everybody's on this even playing field, which is how it's supposed to be. In capitalism, it's the free exchange of value between two entities. So I'm going to continue the discussion with Sophia Georges, and she is running for Franklin Township Council in New Jersey. And this is really how it's supposed to be in America, where citizens step forward, run for office. They don't make it a career. They serve and then step back. Although if Sophia decides that she wants higher office, I bet that would be pretty cool as well. We're going to continue these discussions, and they happen because of our sponsors. And the Second Syndicate is a great sponsor of the show, and Alicia Garcia has written an excellent essay that we published at the Kim Monson Show. You can find it at kimmonson.com regarding policies on firearms here in Colorado. The right to keep and bear firearms to protect ourselves against bad actors is under assault. An excellent article that she's written. So check that out at kimmonson.com, and appreciate the Second Syndicate as a sponsor.
The Second Amendment was established to ensure that all individuals have the right to resist oppression, stand firm against government overreach, and protect our ability to defend ourselves, our families, and our freedoms. Today, that right is under relentless attack in Colorado. Colorado's premier grassroots Second Amendment organization, the Second Syndicate, is on the front lines, fighting to preserve and protect your constitutional rights. We expose the most pressing threats to the Second Amendment and provide the education, resources, and tools to stay informed, empowered, and prepared. Join the movement, protect your rights. Visit thesecondsyndicate.com. That's thesecondsyndicate.com, where the second is first.
It's in the middle of summer and our AC just went out.
Hey, don't worry about it. I got a guy.
And the basement flooded, and there's the kitchen remodel.
Forget about it. I got a guy.
Honey, it's hard to trust you when you use that voice.
Sorry, I had something in my throat. It's not just any guy. It's Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They bring craftsmanship, common sense, and integrity. Call or text at 303-995-1636, 303-995-1636.
The current level of interest rates is causing challenges and creating opportunities. For nearly 20 years, mortgage specialist with Polygon Financial Group Lauren Levy has helped individuals realize their hopes and dreams of home ownership, fund kids' educations through second mortgages, and access capital by utilizing reverse mortgages. Lauren's not constrained to work with just one lender. Because he works with many different lenders, Lauren offers you choices for your individual mortgage needs. Knowledge is power, and preparation leads to success. Call Lauren Levy at 303-880-8881 so that you are prepared for the opportunities in the mortgage market. That's Lauren Levy at 303-880-8881.
Focused and wise marketing is essential for your success, especially during tough economic times. If you love the Kim Monson Show, strive for excellence, and understand the importance of engaging in the battle of ideas that is raging in America, then talk with Kim about partnership, sponsorship opportunities. Email Kim at kimmonson.com. Kim focuses on creating relationships with individuals and businesses that are tops in their fields. So they are the trusted experts listeners turn to when looking for products or services. Kim personally endorses each of her sponsors. Again, reach out to Kim at kimmonson.com.
And welcome back to the Kim Monson Show. Check out our website. That's Kim Monson, MONSON.com, and sign up for our weekly email newsletter there as well. And do check out the website for the Center for American Values. The center is located in Pueblo on the beautiful Riverwalk, and they do a variety of things honoring our Medal of Honor recipients with their Portraits of Valor and some great educational programs. And Drew Dix, co-founder of the center and Medal of Honor recipient, has started a great podcast series. So you can find that at AmericanValueCenter.org. That is AmericanValueCenter.org. And we talked with her in hour number 1, and that's Jody Hinsey with Mint Financial Strategies. And she had talked a bit about planning for college. Her son is headed off to college, and so she's got a front row seat on just how important planning is on that. And Mint Financial Strategies can help you with that. So give them a call at 303-285-3080 and set up a complimentary appointment to plan for your own personal economic freedom. And again, that is Mint Financial Strategies. I'm talking with Sophia Georges, who lives in New Jersey. She is running for council for Franklin Township. And Sophia, is this a November election, or when is the election?
Yes, here in New Jersey, we have odd year elections. Yes, so our elections here are November 4th. It's the same time as our gubernatorial election.
Okay. And you said that you had served on a number of different committees, which is a great way for people to get involved and see what's going on in their communities. What have you seen in New Jersey with rewrites on comprehensive plans, land use, zoning regulations? We're seeing a whole bunch of comprehensive plan rewrites out here in Colorado. Are you seeing that in New Jersey?
We are, to some extent, in more of the urban cities. I mentioned earlier about warehousing in more of our suburban rural towns here. That's been a contentious issue. And this whole rewriting of plans has become a topic when we talk about warehousing, because a lot of these warehouses are vacant, and people are asked, why do you want to continue to build and mandate these low-income affordable housing in areas of where, in our suburban areas where, where the property that we own and our surrounding areas are farmlands, when we can utilize a lot of these warehouse spaces to put into the lower income, to serve the to satisfy the mandate that's been given to them. We do, one thing when they rewrite and look at these comprehensive plans is we question the engineers that are involved and the people that are involved in the planning. When you go to these meetings, these planning board meetings, and people stand up there and they do their presentations of why this is a great development and why they promote it. One of the experts there, the engineering experts, looks at traffic, looks at those types of things. So that's an important element when you talk about these rewritings. And it's always very questionable who is serving who in that purpose. People have questioned in my conversations, are these engineers acting in good faith on behalf of the residents, or are they acting favorably towards the town or favorably towards the development? So that's always the question, because they have so much power, Kim. They have so much power in the way that our way of life, right? The traffic patterns, the overcrowding in schools, and all of those things. So we do see a lot of redevelopment, like you mentioned, in the transient cities, the rewrites. But, it's sort of now coming into our suburban rural areas. And, this idea of warehousing and how to utilize them and how to properly do an assessment of these rewrites has become a contentious issue.
Well, and in a way, it's changing the rules. It's moving the goalposts for people. So here in Colorado, there's this push for density. And I'm concerned about plopping apartment buildings, changing zoning, and plopping apartment buildings in single-family neighborhoods, because I think it changes the fabric of the neighborhood, and I think it's also like it's changing the rules, which I think that if people purchased a single-family home, and another thing that is happening is that the Colorado legislature passed accessory dwelling units, so people could put another dwelling unit on their property, which again I think changes the fabric of a single family neighborhood. What do you think about that? You're an expert on that, Sophia.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, because when you do start changing the zoning rules and changing how the property was intended to be used, you are affecting the value of the property, and you're affecting the value of the surrounding homes. So I completely agree with you that, they change the rules, and it makes it very, very difficult for families that want to create a life, stay somewhere long-term, build a family, run their businesses. Yes, so absolutely, Kim, I agree with you. It does change the rules. And, we buy our homes because we want to gain equity. I mean, the home is also an investment. So when you start artificially doing those things, it makes it very difficult for families to make that lifelong decision of purchasing a home for their intended use.
Well, and if that affects the value, then it is affecting the property rights of that that person or that family as well. And in a way, Sophia, it seems like it's by design. We're seeing this across the country. It seems like it's an assault upon home ownership and people creating equity and economic freedom. It seems to me like there's this real assault on that, Sophia.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with you. I mean, our freedoms in this country is really based on our ownership of things. When you start taking away rights, property rights, ownership rights, then you start having big government intervene in your daily lives. So your greatest power is having ownership of things. So when your ownership rights is under assault, you start to lose your freedoms. And sometimes it happens very slowly. You don't necessarily see it happening. Before you know it, it's unrecognizable. You say, what happened to my town? When we're talking about property rights. I even hear, some of these taxes that we've seen, these obscene increases in our property taxes, is the government trying to tax us out of our properties. That's another argument that I've heard, all for the purpose of increasing the density, like you said, to serve this mandate, and also to take away our rights, to take away our freedoms, so that the government can have more power and control over what we do.
So, Sophia, as you've served on these committees in your township, what I learned when I was on city council, and these are fine people, and that is staff. That staff many times can drive the narrative on what the elected representatives do. And I think that and so what we're having is these unelected bureaucrats, staff, that's really driving a lot of these decisions. And we need to have people step forward to run for office that won't just be rubber stamps for what staff recommends, but that will actually, and you alluded to this, representing the people.
Yeah, that's right. That's where you need the grassroots people to stand up and run for these local offices. And if you can't run, I understand it's a commitment, just get involved, help, volunteer, door knock, get the message out. We need to get back to doing what's right for the community and not rubber stamping, not falling in line with what the groupthink is on this policy. You need somebody that is actually going to stand up for the town and represent the town truly. And me not being in politics, Kim, I come from, I'm pure in all of this. I come strictly as a concerned resident of my town with what I've been seeing. I have, 3 young children. I want to see them be able to live here, to be able to sustain a life. So I'm hoping, I can make that difference. I can get my message across to people, Kim, and and more people. I'm hoping more people can step up, because the more voices, the better.
Well, that is for sure. We're going to continue the discussion. We have a number of questions coming in on the text line. The text line is 720-605-0647. We're talking with Sophia Georges, who is running for council or Franklin Township Council in New Jersey, and we're talking about some of the correlations that we're seeing in New Jersey, Colorado, across the country. And it is very important to connect these dots. And we connect them because of our sponsors. And if you've been injured, reach out to John Bozen and Bozen Law.
You don't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence on your own. The attorneys at Bozen Law have extensive experience handling all types of personal injury and wrongful death claims involving motor vehicle accidents, medical malpractice, defective products, catastrophic injuries, and more. Bozen Law also assists clients with matters related to workers' compensation and Social Security Disability, SSD. Bozen Law takes pride in truly getting to know their clients and genuinely cares about helping you seek the justice you deserve. Call Bozen Law at 303-999-9999 for a complimentary consultation. That number is 303-999-9999. Call Bozen Law now.
There's so much noise coming at us. Sometimes it is difficult to make sense of it all. How can you sift through the clamor for your attention and get to the truth? The Kim Monson Show is here to help. Kim searches for truth and clarity by examining issues through the lens of freedom versus force versus freedom. Tune in to the Kim Monson Show each weekday, 6 to 8 a.m. with encores 1 to 2 p.m. and 10 to 11 p.m. on KLZ 560 AM, KLZ 100.7 FM. The KLZ website, the KLZ app, and Alexa. Play KLZ. Shows can also be found at KimMonson.com, Spotify, and iTunes.
All of Kim's sponsors are an inclusive partnership with Kim and are not affiliated with or in partnership with KLZ or Crawford Broadcasting. If you would like to support the work of the Kim Monson Show and grow your business, contact Kim at her website, KimMonson.com. That's Kim Monson, MONSON.com.
Franktown Firearms, in conjunction with Colorado CQB, will prepare you for real-world defense of your life and property. Imagine you get home and walk through your front door and something seems off. A smell, a noise, a shadow that shouldn't be there. What you do next makes all the difference. Franktown's Shoot House is the only facility of its kind in Colorado where they run live-action scenarios using airsoft. Real rooms, real cover, and real training with highly qualified instructors. And their training is available for people of all skill levels, including you. For June and July, when you sign up for a range membership at Franktown, you're automatically enrolled in CQB for free. You'll get discounted firearm classes, concealed handgun training, and more. Classes at CQB fill up quickly, so sign up now while you can. Go to klzradio.com/Franktown and click on the CQB link to learn more. Or just send them a question through the online form. Franktown Firearms, where friends are made.
And welcome back to the Kim Monson Show. Check out the USMC Memorial Foundation's website. That's usmcmemorialfoundation.org. The official Marine Memorial is right here in Colorado at Colfax and 6th Avenue, and we'll be celebrating its 48th anniversary on August 23rd. You can buy tickets and join me out there on the 23rd by going to usmcmemorialfoundation.org. That's usmcmemorialfoundation.org. Talking with Sophia Georges, who is running for Franklin Township Council in New Jersey. And Sophia, before we get into it, how can people find you? What is your website?
So my website is Realsophy realestate.com, and that's for my brokerage. You can find all my social media there, and some other information, my bio, and some videos and things like that I share about these sorts of topics. And you can also go to ftgop.org and check out my bio. That's for our candidacy for my run for town council. We have articles on there about this as well. This is a hot topic for us in our town, so check them out.
Okay, now it sounds like the area is primarily rural. Do people live there and work in New York?
They do. We have suburban and rural. We have businesses here. We have a lot of businesses in our surrounding areas. But we do have we have an very easy commute into the city, into New York City from here. Yeah, so we're in Somerset County. We run right along the rail line in that densely populated area that lives more towards the train, making it easier for the commute.
Okay. Coming in, we have a number of questions and comments on the text line. First question is, how much land in New Jersey is privately owned and how much is publicly owned? Because we out here in the West, we have a lot of public lands.
Mm-hmm. My rough estimate here in New Jersey is we have about 80% that is privately owned and 20% that's publicly owned. One of the largest publicly owned sections are the Pine Barrens. This is the Pinelands National Reserve, which is more or less central South Jersey, a little bit more in the south, more towards Philadelphia area down there. But a majority of our lands here are privately owned. The state owns about 20% of it, the land that's public. And federal has very small amount here. I think it's probably a little bit more out where you are in Colorado.
Okay. Now, this is another question that came in on the text line, and it's a good point. As anything promoted as a public benefit should benefit everyone equally. And that's why this whole affordable housing thing, it's subsidized housing. In essence, housing has been inflated, and then government comes in and wants to tax one person to subsidize and give to another person, and that is antithetical to the American idea. We've got to push back on that, Sophia.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The original intent when they say public use, for the benefit of the public use, was for things like roads, schools, parks, things that we all use as a community. But over the years, that definition of public use was expanded, and now that's become the artificial build, like you said, of giving money from one economic class to another economic class to create these affordable housing projects. So the intended use is not being used. It's they've like you said, they've infiltrated now into getting away from that intended use, into now creating these affordable housing communities. Yeah.
And again, it's not fair to take from one person to give to another. That's not the proper role of government. And this is something that I'm realizing is that bureaucrats, many of them have gone to public administration programs in universities and colleges, and they've been taught this centralized planning of these comprehensive plans, and it's something that I'm seeing correlations between these comprehensive plans from community to community, which ultimately I think is an assault upon private home ownership. And as you know in your business, Sophia, owning your own home, which is a place to raise your family, it's your home, and you create equity and wealth with that. And that seems to be one of the things that I think is under assault with these new comprehensive plan rewrites, land use code rewrites.
Yes, absolutely. Your home is your sanctuary. Your home is your private place. Your home is the place where you build equity, you build wealth. Right? We get a paycheck every day. We have expenses, but your home is your long-term sustainability to building wealth, and as is any real estate. And then again, doing wealth is power, right? And that's where they don't want us to have that. They're removing our freedoms, Kim. They're taking our freedoms away from us. They're preventing us from raising our families in our home, and from enjoying our life. Right? Enjoyment of our life when we retire. It pains me when I see retirees that are having a hard time now with these artificial changes that have just, they planned for their future, and all of a sudden now their plans have changed. And it's very, very difficult for people to be able to live a good quality life with those types of rules.
Well, and with property taxes going up so significantly, I've come to the same conclusion that you have, that that ultimately it will tax people out of their properties. And that's why stepping up at the local level, which is what you are doing, Sophia Georges, is so important. And I think people can take a lot of heart from your example.
Yes, I mean, for me, this is number one issue. I want families to have a good quality of life. I live it my every day myself. I live this, what I'm trying to do every single day. You know, the struggles of paying your taxes, running a business, raising your family, you know, your children. I feel it, and I'm hoping I can be that voice, Kim, for others, and encourage others to step forward too.
Well, and we have a responsibility, Sophia. I was looking at Franklin Township, Somerset County, New Jersey, where you live. It was incorporated in 1798. So there is amazing history there. And and this is how it is supposed to be, as citizen representatives representing their neighbors. And ultimately that's who we work for as electeds when in elected office is our constituents. We don't work for the entity, the township, the city, or whatever. We work for the people, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Sophia, first of all, thank you for stepping forward. What's the final thought that you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Final thought is, I know things tend to be difficult day to day when we talk about housing. I know people are very frustrated. You know, we were talking about affordable housing, but I look at it as housing in general. I know it's a very challenging time, but I want people to be optimistic that we are starting to see some growth in our economy, and we're predicting to have a strong year coming into next year. So just stay strong, get involved, don't get discouraged, stand up strong, and please, you know, step up and help in your local towns. Also, it's important to stay engaged in your local politics. I'm guilty of that. I have, you know, your day-to-day life and grind, you know, you're not as engaged. And then as I got more involved in the community and started to see things, it was eye-opening to me. So I encourage everybody to do that. And believe me, you can make a difference, and you find a lot of camaraderie that way, and a lot of like-minded people and people in the same situation as you. But we can all make a difference, Kim. The more of us that are out there, the better.
And thank you, Sophia Georges, for stepping forward to run for council for Franklin Township, New Jersey. And I wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much, Kim. I appreciate you having me.
And our quote for the end of the show is Maggie Thatcher. She said this: "When I'm out of politics, I'm going to run a business. It'll be called Rent-A-Spine." So my friends, today be grateful, read great books, think good thoughts, listen to beautiful music, communicate and listen well, live honestly and authentically, strive for high ideals, and like Superman, stand for truth, justice, and the American way. My friends, you are not alone. God bless you, and God bless America.
Views and opinions expressed on KLZ 560 are those of the speaker, commentators, hosts, their guests, and callers. They are not necessarily the views and opinions of Crawford Broadcasting or KLZ management, employees, associates, or advertisers. KLZ 560 is a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.